what you said and what Ian said about backpacking food. This is in 1978. I quit my job, my child abuse job in New York City. I was together with Barbara, and we came to San Francisco because my brother went to art school. And I just gave up my life in the city. I had a friend, my friend Gunders, a Latvian, who lived with a family in a trailer in Bend, Oregon, in a national forest. We came here, really liked San Francisco, but didn't really know what to do, didn't have a lot of money with us, etc., and no plans. We went to Oregon and spent like 2 months with Gunders and his family, doing nothing but me and Barbara during the day would take Gunders to work. He worked in a bookstore in Bend, Oregon. He was also a bookman. And then during the day we would hike in the mountains, in the Oregon Cascades, are very beautiful, very lush. There's a lot of water, there's snow during the summer up in the top of the mountains. And it's green and it's just beautiful. Well, we spent about 3 months there and we decided we got to come back to San Francisco and start living again. And I just can't do it. So Barbara decides what she's going to come back to San Francisco and see if she can get a job. And I decide to walk back to San Francisco from Bend, Oregon. And have no experience in really backpacking or walking. So Barbara leaves and I get a little backpack and I figure out it should take me about 5-6 weeks. And so when I think, well, how much food do I need? So I buy some little sardine cans, pancake mix, and all other stuff. In those days, you didn't have backpacking food. You know, it was like freeze-dried stuff that you put in water. So I have a backpack, a little tent, and the food. And my backpack weighs 130 pounds. And I, at that point, because I was really in great shape, I weigh about 160. So they put this back on like this. So one morning, this is July 1970, and my friends take me somewhere just north of Crater Lake. I don't know if you've been to Oregon, and drop me off and drive off. And here I am at night. And what I had imagined that the trip back to San Francisco would be like walking in the Oregon Cascades. There'd be waterfalls, there would be greenery, and there would be mountains with snow on top of them. It would be just this big, long walk. First night is okay. The second night I realized this thing is really heavy. I'm really down. And I hit a place, there's no water to drink. There's absolutely no water. And I walk another day and there's no water, so I have 1 day without any liquids. And I remember that night I got up, there was a sort of sprinkle. I got out of my tent and I stood naked, just standing this and letting these little drops of water drop on me. No, day number 3. Next day I actually find a lot of water. A little running brook, and I just really bring gallons and gallons of it and fill up my little water can. But meanwhile I have this heavy weight, 130 pounds. Day number 4, I begin to realize that I bought new hiking shoes, so I have blisters. And this heavy pack is really, it's digging into my skin, of which there's no fat anymore, right? So if I take a break during the day hiking, I don't even take it off because I can't pull it back on my shoulders anymore. So I lean against a tree and take a leak with this backpack. But I'm beginning to think something's not right here. Well, the geography gets worse and worse. It's the driest year in the West. I mean, it's sort of like what we have now, and all of a sudden I'm hitting these. I mean, kind of desert country, and I start. At nights I just have like nightmares. I can't sleep. There's a little water I start drinking from black ditches that I wouldn't even go close to. I mean, and I start discarding my food. My pancake mix is the first thing that goes. I just let it. And I eat 1 can of sardines a day, and that's pretty much all that I eat. And this is maybe day 6 or 7. I begin to notice I'm wearing these short pants that my thighs are really getting kind of narrow. And I have blisters. Like, it takes me like an hour before I get used to that I can even walk. And in those days, I had no map. I had a street map of... And there used to be this thing called, which still exists, they had just sort of finished it, it was called the Pacific Crest Trail. You can walk all the way from Canada to Mexico. And people do that these days, going back and forth. But in those days, it was just set up, and it wasn't well marked. So there were days when I would just lose my trail, and it would take me along, I mean, like a whole day just to get back. But the weather is getting hot. It's like probably over 100 degrees. This is like sort of around Ashland. Mm. And I'm beginning to sort of hallucinate because I don't see anybody. There are no human beings. When I'm just eating my little sardine, 1 can of sardines a day. And it really... I mean, by the reason I remember, I used to keep this, I still have it, a little notebook where I wrote, and I kept writing, remember, Latvian, I think, remember how hard this was. Because usually forget, when I knew, when this wasn't even the worst part. So I think day 9, day 10, I realized I'm not going to die. Because all I have is sardine cans, and there's really no water. In other words, I drink maybe a pint of water a day because I find something like a ditch or somewhere, no springs. And I get to this little kind of dried out lake, and I lie down, and I keep thinking, looking at the stars, and I'm thinking, well, this is it, you did it. Because I completely lost, I have not eaten enough, and I really haven't drunk enough. And I'm still carrying this weight. I'm really trying to walk back to San Francisco because I'm afraid if I don't get there in time, Barbara will kind of go somewhere else. Yeah. And the end was this. I was really ready, I thought I was going to die. Sort of accepted it in a kind of weird way. So I have this backpack, which by this time is kind of empty. There's nothing really there, discarded everything. And the trails are just dusty. I mean, things that have been, where the trees have been cut. There's plains of really ugly, ugly places, nothing like Cascades in Oregon. When I really realized I can't walk anymore, this is it, I just can't do it, I can't walk. I think I was crawling for a while, and dragging my backpack. So I get to this little kind of a road, and I realize when I'm going to do this, I'm going to ride down in the middle of the road, and if somebody comes down, they'll see and they'll pick me up and they will save me. So I do this. I had enough gumption to realize that somebody could hit me, because nobody expects that somebody was lying around. So I pull my backpack about 20 feet in front of me, and I go down and just line on the road. And I have this kind of nightmares when I see these big flashes going across and all of that. And then I think I pass out, and I wake up in a hospital in Ashland. in the clinic, actually.
It's true. Yeah. Did you
And
find out?
Some guys, some fishermen had picked me up. They had found me. I never knew who they were. And I'm lying over these needle sticks, intravenous.
Oh, Egil.
Well,
So you took the bus home.
that was my walk, my fun.
Well, this would be a good contribution to the Sierra Club bulletin.
No, I was always kind of taken aback. I couldn't really. Remember, this is before backpacking became this sort of almost. Now you have magazines and all that, how to do
Style.
it, all kinds of special things that people do. This was just before that.
So you took the bus back?
Yeah.
They put you
Well,
on
I
the bus.
stayed in the hospital just a day. When there's Yorker, you're just dehydrated. And I remember, I got my tickets to come back to San Francisco. In those days, Greyhound ran more often than these days. And then I went into a bar and I drank 7 bottles of beer in about 30 minutes.
That's a good way to hydrate.
One after the other. I still remember it was, what was it? Oh my God, I can't remember. Anyway, a special.
Well,